Thank you for watching. Today we're going to talk about parsing XML for use in our Unity games. Let's get started right away and create a new Unity project. I like to make it 2D just because that's what I'm used to. So right away we'll just go ahead and create our folders. One for resources, and that's how we'll pull in our XML element. And just to keep it clean, I like to have a scripts folder. We'll have just a regular manager class to control everything. And the easiest way I've seen to add an XML file is to just step right into the project directory and manually add it. I have to change the extension to XML. Alright, great. So I'll just copy this over just to show you guys an example of XML if you haven't seen it before. This signature is just going to designate that this is valid XML. You have one root for the document, and it has many children, or one to many, none to many. Here I just have one scene, which is a member of scenes. This scene has just one attribute called name, and the value of that attribute is opening. Now, a scene can have children called options, which have no attributes, and just a regular value, text value. So we'll save that. And step into the Unity editor again. We'll just create an empty manager object to house that script. And then just to give an example of how we can use XML, I'm just going to create some text boxes that will populate from code. We'll bring in that name of the scene, and again we have various options. I'm not sure why when I created this project it created it as 3D. Maybe I didn't really select 2D. I just want to space these out. Not sure where the name went. Alright, great. So just a couple quick changes to that manager class. By default we'll get collections. We want to step into generic specifically. just copy over some instantiations from the editor. We'll bring in all those text boxes. There's a number of ways to reference these. This is just the quickest and probably the fastest. Just to access each of these, to set the values, we'll keep these in an array. And then we will have just a private collection just to keep all of our XML data in memory. If you wanted, you could keep that game object alive between scenes, or the way I used this was to not actually have multiple scenes and just dynamically repopulate the scene we've already loaded. So we can set the value to our array with each game object that we brought in from the editor. And then essentially, by using this XML resource, we want to do these two things. We want to load the data from it, and then we want to populate our text boxes. So these will be private methods. You see here in the load scene data right away, we just instantiate this class level collection we have. And again, this is why we had to create that resources folder inside of assets, so we could just call it directly through Unity. This is the name of the document itself. We named it data. We have to cast it as a text asset, and we'll just bring in a couple more using statements right away. Need system.xml, which is an older XML library in .NET, but it's the one that plays nicest with Unity. And we'll need to use those text boxes from UI later. So we can load a new XML document using the text property of our text asset, and then we just iterate over each node, which is the element in the XML. We want to start diving in by looking at each child of the root element, which is scene. So each child of scenes, we take a look at the attribute value, which you dive into by looking at attributes. Then we can take a look at each option by getting the inner text, which is different than the attribute. And you could have as many attributes as you want and just look at them by name, as long as you're at the right level or node. So we'll just set this list by name, so we can look up all of our options in this dictionary by using the key or the name of the scene. Finally, we want to populate our text boxes. Just paste that over. Just iterate over our collection that we already have and use each reference. I used the for loop here. Pairs nicely with an array. You could have did this the opposite way and looped over these lists. Otherwise, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And I could just show you quick that this works. Or it doesn't work because we need to reference the text boxes. So there you have it. This is an example of bringing in some persistent data stored internally within our project in Unity. I got the name of our scene here. We can go to the town center or go back to sleep. And if you'd like to see some more examples of source code or how I use this in an actual real game, I did do a write-up on it. I have a link to that in the description. If you have any questions or ideas for me to do it better, please feel free to comment.